Of Tonto National Monument, having a little snack before we get ready to go on our hike. We have a reservation to hike to the upper ruins of Tonto National Monument. Now the lower ruins, which we've been into before, are located right here. And they're a pretty easy walk from the parking lot of the headquarters. The upper ruins are located underneath here. You can't quite see them from here. That's where we're going to be going today.
Hey Dad, watch this. Check this out.
What was I watching?
Okay, watch again.
Them being a monkey.
Watch again.
Nothing new or exciting.
Watch, Dad.
We have evidence of humans being in this area upwards of 9,000 years ago. Back when the woolly mammoth and saber-toothed tigers were running around on these hillsides, there were people here. The whole globe made a dramatic environmental transition, which was fully in place by about 5500 BC. A lot of those animals disappeared. 32 species of animals from the late glacial period disappeared. But humans didn't. Very resilient species. We made the trip.
Where do you want to go? I'd love to know.
We're only a few hundred feet, well, maybe 400 feet from the parking lot, running along this creek. And it is thick, full of trees, lots of cover.
You walk into a place like this, one of the first words that come to my mind is always oasis. Just walked into an oasis, and that's what it is. Research-wise, land management, language, it's a riparian system. It means the same as an oasis. Okay? It's here because of the water. This is Cave Canyon Spring. It is a perennial, runs all the time. It's actually where we get the water for the visitor center and the housing area. This spring is probably 2 million years old. It was here long before humans. When humans did come here, they took advantage of it immediately. We do believe that the long history of human activity on this particular plot of land is due to the water. You have to have water. Humans simply do not exist without it. What if kind of guys, what if society fell apart, what if this, you know. I'm just looking for the excuse to walk off into that wilderness and leave it all behind. So I do want to know what these things are. And I think it behooves everybody to have a good knowledge of their local environments just in case, you know. Couldn't find it?
Well, Urbino looks a little stockier.
series of switchbacks strung us out. Some pretty good steps in there. And it's on the south side, so it's nice and warm. We're almost there. They were just around the corner up there.
I'd like to spend all day with you guys on the trail, talk about each plant. I just hope you're getting an impression that hey, there's a lot of stuff here, more than you would think. This plant here falls into that category too, more than you would think. For instance, 700 years ago we get to the village, we sat down for supper. Well, what we have is some dehydrated cholla buds, maybe some saguaro fruit leather, mesquite tortillas, and a roasted wood rat. That's supper tonight. Wouldn't be too appetizing, but for a plant here, it can spice it up. Peel these leaves off, let them dry, make powder from them, and sprinkle it over that wood rat. Not too bad. These leaves also, you can boil them, breathe the vapors, very good for congested bronchial, etc. Just grab a few leaves off this thing when you walk by it, check it out. It's called red weed, oddly enough. This is the Tonto upper cliff dwelling. Now currently, we recognize 40 rooms. We know we've lost a lot of the village. Over the centuries, I'm sure that many sections have actually fallen over the cliffs. To date, we recognize 9 second-story sections, which adds an air of sophistication to these people's architecture. We will go that way, yes. Yes, we will. This village, as far as we can tell, was under construction along about AD 1250, possibly as late as 1275. We've recently obtained some new information that says it may be later, and that maybe this was just the final refuge for the Salado that were left here after the big Holocaust, which took the population out. But nonetheless, it was an isolated village. It was not a hierarchy. It was not a special place, penthouse. It was where a group of people lived. Now, my estimation is it was occupied for about 100 years. We might shrink that down to around 75 here pretty soon, but nonetheless, that's almost 2 generations of Salado. This was being constructed as the valley floor was becoming heavily populated with people. We know that at 700 AD, the Hohokam from the south had expanded their culture into the Tonto Basin, and that many villages were lined up and down that river channel. It was strictly Hohokam occupation. Question?
Are we gonna go in?
Yes, we will. And I'm going to show you some stuff in there too, okay? Okay. Let me do a little adult talk here for just a second, and we'll go check it out. By 1200 AD, though, the Colorado Plateau, better known for its ancestral Puebloan people, Anasazi as they used to be called, Pueblos as I call them today, they were leaving. Something had gone wrong up there, and a 1,500-year agricultural development was coming to a close. As the Pueblo people were leaving the north and the east, they came south into Tonto Basin, the Safford Valley, San Juan Valley, along the Rio Grande. Here, for our purposes, we now know that Anasazi were coming down, mixing it up here in the valley with a well-entrenched Hohokam population. This had never been seen in the American Southwest. 2 distinct cultures moving in side by side. And we suspected in the early years this was probably okay, that the local indigenous people didn't mind too much, that they said, yeah, we know there's troubled times to the north, come on in. But after about 70 years of nonstop migration, we see signs of resistance. And I think it's easy to relate to the mindset that may have been in place. We can look at our Arizona-Mexico border today and just, think about the political, the financial, the emotional issues that have erupted. That was going on here in the 1200s. As the Pueblo people were moving in, living adjacent to and even with the Hohokam population, the sharing of ideas and technologies, philosophies and religions in itself created a pseudo-culture. A third culture emerged from this. That is what we call Salado. Salado was not a people. Salado was a phenomenon. Just like America, the American way was a phenomenon in its time. We're not made up of a single ethnic group by any stretch. You know, we're African American and English and British and Spanish, Native American. You know, we too are Salado. That's where this name came from. And I'm sorry, did I ask a question that you asked me it's best not to touch them. On the tops of these walls, you have to put them in makes them less resistant to the impact. Touching, leaning, climbing, those things are This is the original blueprint. And actually described it down below. Here we're just missing the main support post and the lateral cross beam. Typical Salado handiwork. Crude by comparison of what was going on throughout the Southwest, but nonetheless, very distinctive in that when we see this type of architecture, you know it was Salado.
And they look pretty tall, too.
Yeah.
This guy's standing there without bending down.
I think a lot of that, because they weren't. You know, men were around 5'7", 5'8", women 5 foot, 5'4". Theoretically, I believe it has sugar out of the soil into this massive root system. Well, the prehistorics would cut big chunks of that out and they'd chew on it. When all the sugar was gone, they'd spit this water fiber out. And that's what this is. This is a quid. Somebody had that in their mouth about 800 years ago. Actually, we'll get close someday to be able to do DNA on that.
Wow.
I was curious, some of the local Indian groups now have a claim to the remains that you guys find.
That is by law.
Is there a DNA link?
No. It's a, we do consultation. We have 12 groups claiming descendancy.
Right.
I think it's 12. They have to work that out. Okay, we acknowledge it. One of them has claim, maybe 3 or 4, we don't know. We simply follow the law and turn the remains over.
Now, whoever
They do
wants
what
them.
they- You know, what they see fit.
I see.
And in most cases, they repatriate. That's what the new law was called, the Native American Graves and Repatriation Act. It's an act of Congress.
Right.
So it is their people, you know, and we concur completely that, you know, the grandmother shouldn't be propped up in some museum somewhere. These remains should be dealt with sensitivity and a whole lot of other things that wasn't done in the past. You know?
Yeah.
So they do have claim over it.
Come in.
cool in here.
Huh?
It's nice and cool in here.
This might have been their hideout.
River reeds, he said.
Here, you can see them right here.
The ends of them.
Yeah. It's nice and cool in there.
Lots of smoke in here.
I'm going to tie a knot in this first, just so I can keep all these together. So let's say we was down there at one of the yucca plants, and we began stripping all this fiber off of those leaves, okay? And we got it all pulled out nice and fine like that. You hold this end right there. Hold her tight. You got it? Okay, we put them together. Now I want you to twist clockwise. I want you to start twisting it that
The way the
way.
clock goes, the way the hand of the clock goes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm going to do the same on this end. You start twisting, keep twisting. I want a lot of tight twist in that thing. Now this is what people would do. What happens is once you twist it like this, now watch this thing. See how I did that?
Cool.
Isn't that cool? Hold it right in the middle. Grab it right in the middle, right there. Okay, now you hang on to it and just, can you feel it trying to turn? Can you feel it? Now try it, slowly let her go. Real slow like let her go. Okay, now release it.
Whoa.
And that's as strong as you can. There's no way to break that now. And if you and I spent some time with this, we could make it really tight. We could make it. I took 2 of them. I made 2 of these and then I twisted them together.
Whoa.
Now we could climb up this rock wall with that. And I'm here to tell you, string making was one of the keys to survival. These people didn't have nails, they didn't have Velcro or glue. Everything was tied together. So does that answer your question? Mother Nature created this magical thing, string making. People want to know more about it. It actually seems to be an Anasazi site.
Oh, really?
Yeah.